So for those of you that don't know me, my career is one of being a speechwriter, which we're often like golf coaches. There's a reason we're not on the pro tour. So I will try best up here to explain my reasons for being here and why I give to the church while not boring you. My wife and I came from a Baptist tradition, and it was getting a little difficult for the two of us. I think my wife had seen her father hit down a few too many times. When you stand up in the Baptist church for things like gay marriage, for women being able to preach, for African Americans to be members of your church, that luckily was far before we came. And it can be difficult to see someone constantly run out of town because they stand up for what they believe is right. And I think when we joined a church in Towson that was also Baptist, I think perhaps that was the last straw for us. When I became sick, I was able to make it through. But for those of you that have been very sick, you know that you are often able to get yourself through, and it is your spouse or your caregiver that you worry the most about. Not one person from the church that we were at asked my wife to lunch. Not one person ever asked her to help me get to an appointment so she wouldn't have to. And so for us, that was kind of the end, and it became a search when we moved from Baltimore down to here to search for a new church community. I had gone to Oratory Prep, which is a Catholic school up in New Jersey. And while I knew that the Catholic Church was not for either of us, I do remember feeling a camaraderie there. And so this was one of the first places that I asked my wife to come to try out. And out of all the places that we tried, this was the only church where someone actually followed up with us. In fact, after only one time here, Emily offered her home to my in-laws who needed a place to stay for Christmas. And that was very generous. So that is what got us here, was the fact that we felt welcomed. The nursery is amazing. This is one of the few places where my daughter does not scream and cry when I drop her off. In fact, today she didn't even turn to me and give me her lower lip look, wondering why I was torturing her and dumping her off. Instead, she ran to the teachers and embraced them and was excited that she was able to push the shopping cart around. So that's also why we're here. We're here because you have a school that attempts to serve the students that it takes. And what I say by that is that you are not looking to make money off of the students. Instead, you are looking to provide as much financial aid as possible. And that's something that I've learned upon joining the school board there. And having grown up in this area as a kid and having seen a lot of the private schools, I can tell you that most of them, they just like to have enough diversity so they can pat themselves on the back. And that is not the case here. So I continue to come, my daughter continues to come, my wife just in general I think is still trying to find what's most meaningful to her. But that is why I continue to come, that is why I continue to give, and I have no doubt that if someone came in need, that this church would be there for them. And if I didn't think that, I wouldn't be here. So thank you.